Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Dallas with Chaos Fragrances. Today we're back with another fragrance review, and this one is going to be on a pretty highly requested fragrance review, or a highly requested fragrance. Talked about quite a bit. Pretty much everyone knows what it is at this point, and we're going to be talking about Dior Sauvage. Before we get started though, guys, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps with engagement on my channel. Also subscribe. I was looking at my analytics the other day, and I saw that 80% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed to me. And I'm like, what? That's crazy, man. You gotta subscribe. I mean, you really had to subscribe. You're missing out, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe. And let's go ahead and get on with this review. So Dior Sauvage, right? We all know what it is. We've all heard of it. This has gotten a lot of hate, and it's also gotten a lot of love. The niche snobs tend to hate this fragrance. One thing I want to clear the air real quickly. This fragrance wasn't made to be a unique creation. This was made to get compliments. People are hating on it, saying, oh, you know, this smells generic, blah, blah, blah. That's exactly what they were trying to do with this fragrance. It's meant to get compliments. It's meant to smell good. It's meant to earn them a lot of money. All right, that'd be like me saying that some fancy niche fragrance sucks because it doesn't give me a lot of compliments. That wasn't its intended purpose. So it doesn't suck. It's just not meant to do that. And same thing here. This wasn't meant to be new. This wasn't meant to be unique. It's meant to get compliments, and with that, it does great. Saying that this is a bad fragrance and everything isn't really fair, because it does what it's supposed to do really well, probably the best. You know, there's Versace Dylan Blue, Aqua Atlantique, all these other fragrances that came out, Boss Bottled, Tonic, 2.0, 3, 7. All these fragrances that came out that kind of go in a similar direction with this one. In my opinion, this one does it the best. I just wanted to clear the air there. So let's go and get on to how this smells. So when you first spray this fragrance, by the way, if you see that sprayer, one of the best. When you first spray this fragrance, you get hit with a blast of pepper and also some bergamot, all right? It has a very invigorating opening, just kind of a very in-your-face kind of right there type of opening. You really do pick up a lot of ambroxan in the opening too as well, but mainly it's that peppery kind of fruity opening that it starts off with. And I think that's what really catches people's attention. When you first spray this in the store, when you smell it on someone, it's just like, whoa, it's like, you know, what was that? It's very just kind of in your face. It's very harsh, which is why this isn't something that is best worn for dates, isn't best worn for kind of close encounters. If you're in, for example, in class, you don't want to go too heavy on the trigger, because this could be a little bit too much to those around you. But like I said, you get this just very ambroxan filled pepper bergamot kind of blast. And when it dries down, it kind of fades to this little bit more of a smooth, even more so clean smell, if that makes sense. Like I said, the opening is very aggressive, very sharp, but the dry down is a little bit more smooth, less in your face, less sharp. You just kind of get that ambroxan kind of almost lavender smell. And the dry down also smells really good. I know a lot of people say they prefer the opening, which I do. I really like the opening, but I also really like the dry down too. I think it's done really well. It does stay mostly linear, so it's not going to change too much throughout the time you're wearing it. It is slightly different in the dry down, and I still don't mind it. I think it's a good fragrance. I think it's a nice smell. One thing I do also want to point out that I've touched on before is olfactory fatigue. This fragrance is notorious for people saying, oh, you know, this performance sucks, I can't smell it on me, blah, blah, blah. The deal is, guys, when you spray this stuff on, especially if you're spraying it kind of on your neck area where you're constantly smelling it, your nose is going to tune it out pretty quickly. And that is probably mostly due to the ambroxan. That tends to be, or ambergris, that tends to be a note which tires your senses a lot more. Also with the fact that it is kind of sharp, harsh. So your nose is going to tune it out pretty quickly. So you just need to give it some time, give it some air, let your nose get used to it. Because you will find throughout the day that you still will catch whiffs of it 7 or 8 hours later, even 9 to 10. Sometimes I get really good performance, which I'll talk about in a minute. But that's just something I want you guys to keep in mind with this fragrance. It is very tiring on your nose, so you don't want to go spray a couple sprays and be like, I can't smell it anymore, and just keep going. Don't do that. You're going to be okay. So that's just something to keep in mind with this fragrance. Now, as far as how versatile this fragrance is, very versatile. Any season, any occasion. Could be dressed up, could be dressed down. More casual, I would say, but if you wanted to wear something nicer along with this fragrance, you could. It's not like a Bleu de Chanel where it's a little bit more formal. This is kind of a little bit more casual, like I said. So still, any season, any occasion. I've talked about before, a great gift. or a great fragrance for anyone who just wants to own a couple fragrances, a couple solid fragrances to wear throughout the year. Easily that could be one of them. People say that it's super generic and everyone wears it, but that really depends on your location. For me, I haven't smelled this on anyone else where I'm from, so that really is just kind of up to your location and just where you are. Bigger cities, yeah, I'm sure you're going to smell this more, but if you live in a smaller town or just some place where people don't wear as many fragrances, this could easily be the holy grail and have everyone just, turn in their heads and be like, what was that? So really just if you smell it everywhere, then maybe not the best fragrance for you if you don't want to smell like everyone else. But if you are in a smaller town or in an area where people don't wear them as much, you really can't go wrong with this. As far as compliment factor, I mean, do I even have to talk about that? You guys know the compliments that you can get with this fragrance. That's why it's so popular. Part of the reason because it is dubbed as like a compliment king. It's pretty remarkable. Wasn't my most complimented fragrance, but it was up there. Really just kind of depends on the people around you, and it depends on your personality. It just depends on who you are as far as getting compliments. I've talked about it before in my how to get more compliments with fragrances video, Fragrant Facts. Really just comes down to not only the fragrance you're wearing, but also, like I said, the people around you, how you carry yourself. If you just sit there like, all insecure and not talking, you're not gonna get as many compliments. You gotta put yourself out there, and you gotta make sure people can smell you also. But if you're doing all the right things, this will get you a lot of compliments for sure. Like I said, it's that very mass-pleasing vibe, and also, like I said, it's something that just gets your attention. You smell it, you're like, wow, what was that? Very nice. I've really come to like this fragrance. I remember when I first sprayed it, first smelled it, I guess I blind bought it. I was like, really? That's what all the hype was about? But the more I've smelled it, the more I've worn it, the more I've really started to appreciate it. And again, it's, comes down to just your taste. I mean, it is a pretty generic fragrance. Those who are really into fancy kind of complex scents aren't going to like this one. For me, I enjoy it for what it is. It's not, again, nothing unique, nothing super magical. It does what it's supposed to do really well. I have actually gotten the compliment, or I guess the comment, that it smells like a pine tree. I remember someone at work smelled it and they were like, pine trees, and I'm just like, no. There's no pine notes in this, obviously, but I see where they were coming from. Again, kind of that sharpness, kind of a little bit woodsy. I could see where they were coming from. Yeah, I don't think this smells like a pine tree or anything like Burberry London or something, but that is a comment I've gotten with this, and again, just kind of showing the sharpness of it, just things like that. As far as performance goes, really, really good. I talked about olfactory fatigue earlier, but if you get past that, if you're able to test the fragrance properly, you'll get anywhere from 7 to 9 or 10 hours out of this. Projection really good in the first probably 2.5 to 3. It starts to become a skin scent around that 8-hour mark. You can still catch faint whiffs of it off yourself, which for me is all I need. I don't need this thing to be projecting beast mode all day, and I prefer people to have to get closer to me to smell me anyway. I really don't mind that too much, but still, great performance. I'm not gonna lie, it's really good. One of my better performing fragrances, and that's part of the reason, again, why people like this so much, and also why I reach for it all the time in the summer. This is one that I took on vacation with me, and I wore it a lot. And see, I've worn a decent amount. May not look like a lot to some people, but for someone who has a decent amount of fragrances and who rotates them and doesn't really wear them in the colder weather like this, that's a decent amount. Plus, Dior sprayers give out a pretty hefty amount anyway. Anyway, yeah, I've worn it quite a bit. And I guess I could talk about sprays, the amount of sprays you should use. I always go 2 sprays for just like school work, whatever. And it does great. People can smell me, but they don't complain and say, oh, who's that? It's nothing too strong. For outdoor situations, like for example when I was on vacation, walking around the resort, on the lake, things like that, I would go 3, maybe 3.5 to 4. You can do the half by, like I said, with the sprayers, you can regulate how much comes out by how far you push down. What awesome sprayer. So 3.5 to 4 for outdoors, like 2 on the neck, 1 on the back of the neck, or 2 on the back of the neck depending, and that's what I would do, and again, does great. And that's typically my spray routine for all of my good performing fresh fragrances: Acqua di Gio Profumo, Invictus Aqua, Dylan Blue, all those fragrances that have really good performance. 2 sprays is about all I do, like I said, for school, and for outdoors 2 to 4, 3 to 4, whatever, and you will be fine. If I missed anything? I think that's everything. I think we've done it. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for this review. Like I said, this has been pretty highly requested. The main reason I've taken so long to get to this review is, one, there have been a lot of reviews out there on this fragrance already, and that's just again because of its popularity, but I do respect that you guys wanted to hear my take on it, and I also have wanted to review this fragrance. And the other reason why is because here where I am, it's pretty cold, where I tend to not reach for this as much. I said it could be any season, any occasion. It just doesn't do the best in the cold. Still works because it has great performance. It could still easily work, but I tend to try to save all of my fresh fragrances for the summer, so I'm not having to rebuy bottles, because if I wore this all through the winter and then wanted to wear it all through the summer, I'd probably have to get another bottle or two to have. So I just try to save all my fresh ones for the warm weather, because I do go through those pretty quickly in the summer and spring, because that's my favorite time of the year, mostly spring and summer. So yeah, that's the main reason why I've taken so long to review this. But there it is, guys. People have also been requesting me to do Dylan Blue, Chanel Allure, Homme Sport, Eau Extreme, and some other fragrances, which I'll get to here soon. I have quite a few fragrances coming for Christmas that I plan on reviewing first, and I'll get to those eventually. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That was my take on Dior Sauvage. Like I said, great fragrance. Definitely probably one of my favorites, as much as people would probably hate to hear. It is one of my favorites. I really do enjoy this scent. I enjoy how it works off my skin. So yeah, like I said, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit the like button, like I said earlier. Also subscribe, man. It's free. You got to do it. Like I said, liking really helps the engagement on my channel, helps me grow. And then also leave a comment telling me what you want to see reviewed, or what your thoughts are on this fragrance. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.